Welcome to Episode 35, Device Security and Baselines for i1, where we explore how standardization of devices builds trust in the overall security program. In a world filled with laptops, tablets, and mobile devices, consistency matters more than raw performance. Baselines are the documented expectations for how every device should be built, configured, and maintained before connecting to the network. They are the blueprint of assurance that allows auditors and defenders to know what normal looks like. Without a baseline, every device becomes a unique experiment, and even small differences can hide vulnerabilities. This episode focuses on how baselines translate into repeatable protection, how they support evidence collection for HITRUST i1 certification, and why they serve as a quiet but powerful form of risk management within an organization. Device assurance begins with understanding what you own. A hardware inventory creates visibility, ensuring every laptop, workstation, and mobile phone is known by type, serial number, and assigned owner. This inventory is more than an asset spreadsheet. It defines accountability. If a laptop shows up on the network without a record, that becomes an immediate concern. For auditors, the completeness and accuracy of the inventory prove that controls apply to real, tracked assets rather than theoretical ones. Automated discovery tools help find unmanaged devices, and integration with identity systems connects hardware to responsible users. The goal is to eliminate shadow devices and bring every endpoint under consistent oversight. Standard images and golden baselines provide the starting point for consistent system builds. Instead of each technician manually installing and configuring software, a golden image contains the approved operating system, security settings, and standard applications ready for deployment. This reduces configuration drift, the gradual differences that appear over time. The process also speeds up recovery after hardware replacement or malware cleanup. The golden baseline should be version controlled, meaning every update is documented and reapproved before it's distributed. Organizations that rely on automated imaging tools can prove to auditors that every device starts life in a known, secure state before users even log in for the first time. Disk encryption forms one of the strongest protections for data at rest, ensuring that if a device is lost or stolen, the stored information cannot be read without proper authorization. Encryption keys must be managed carefully, often using an enterprise key escrow or management system. Default full disk encryption should be non-optional on all endpoint types, and the recovery keys should never be stored on the same device. Auditors will often verify not just that encryption is enabled, but that key management records exist. A common pitfall is allowing local users to disable encryption for troubleshooting. Strong baselines prevent this by enforcing encryption through policy, not user choice. Endpoint detection and response, often called EDR, provides continuous visibility into device behavior. It looks for suspicious patterns like unusual process execution or file modifications that may indicate malware or intrusion. Coverage across all endpoints ensures consistent telemetry. The EDR baseline defines which agents must run, how updates are delivered, and what minimum logging level applies. Without a baseline, gaps appear when devices fall out of management or EDR software is removed. Integration with a centralized monitoring system allows alerts to be routed quickly to analysts who can verify and respond. For high-trust evidence, exportable dashboards showing EDR coverage and alert resolution demonstrate operational maturity. Local administrator rights are one of the most sensitive privileges in device management. Minimizing them prevents users from installing unauthorized software, disabling protections, or changing system files. A strong baseline assigns admin rights only when business justified, time-bound, and logged. Privileged access tools, or just-in-time elevation, can grant temporary admin control when necessary. A common misconception is that removing admin rights slows productivity. In reality, it reduces incidents caused by accidental or malicious changes. For auditors, demonstrating a process to approve and review these rights proves that least privilege is not just a slogan, but a measurable practice. Application allow listing defines what software is permitted to run. Instead of trying to block all possible threats, allow listing flips the model and permits only known, approved applications. This can be managed through tools that control executable signatures or publisher identities. The baseline should specify how the list is maintained, how exceptions are reviewed, and how violations are detected. While strict allow listing can cause early frustration, it dramatically reduces the attack surface. Over time, organizations refine their lists to balance usability with protection. Auditors view a well-documented allow listing process as a sign of disciplined operational control. Mobile Device Management, or MDM, extends these same protections to smartphones and tablets. Through enrollment, devices receive configuration profiles, enforced encryption, and remote wipe capabilities. MDM tools help organizations apply the same baseline principles, knowing each device, enforcing policies, and capturing evidence of compliance. The baseline may differentiate between corporate-owned and bring-your-own devices, applying stronger controls to the former. Automated compliance reports from MDM platforms become vital artifacts during HITRUST reviews, showing that even mobile endpoints adhere to consistent, monitored standards. Removable media, such as USB drives, represent a persistent source of risk because they can bypass network defenses entirely. A sound baseline restricts or disables their use, allowing only approved devices or blocking them altogether. When removable media is permitted, encryption and logging must follow. Policies should clearly state how data transfers are handled and what exceptions exist. For example, a production team may have a secure, audited process for transferring files between isolated networks. Auditors often request policy evidence and system settings showing that USB restrictions are technically enforced, not just written on paper. Patch cadence ties directly to risk management. The baseline defines how quickly systems must apply patches once they become available. Critical vulnerabilities might require patching within days, while low-risk updates can follow a monthly schedule. The organization's patch management system must align with this cadence, generating evidence of deployment and verification. The challenge lies in balancing stability with speed. Skipping patches for fear of disruption leads to accumulated exposure. Mature programs track exceptions, document justifications, and ensure temporary compensating controls are in place. Auditors look for consistency between policy, records, and real-world patch status. Logging and telemetry create the factual history of device activity. Baselines should specify what logs each device collects, where those logs are sent, and how long they are retained. For example, a workstation might forward security events to a central server that correlates them with network data. Alert routing ensures important signals reach analysts quickly rather than being lost in volume. Time synchronization across devices is also part of the baseline, so events align accurately during investigation. Without unified logging, troubleshooting and incident response become guesswork. Auditors often ask for screenshots or exported samples showing that telemetry reaches its intended destinations. Evidence underpins every claim of compliance. Inventories show scope, policies show intent, and tooling exports show proof of execution. Each evidence type connects to a specific control, forming a chain of assurance. For example, an auditor might request a policy excerpt on encryption, a configuration export confirming BitLocker or File Vault is active, and a screenshot from the key management system. Building evidence into daily operations simplifies audits later, avoiding last-minute scrambles. The key is to treat evidence as a living record of good practice, not a burden created for certification alone. The strength of device security lies in its consistency. When every system follows an approved baseline, the organization gains predictability and speed in both operations and defense. Auditors see the same rigor across laptops, servers, and mobile devices, reducing surprises. Users experience fewer disruptions because settings behave uniformly. Over time, this discipline builds trust within teams and confidence in external reviews. Device security is less about locking things down and more about defining a known, monitored standard that everyone follows, proving that strong protection can also be simple, repeatable, and transparent.